Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rafi Kurnia Putra.
And my name is Intan Wadhiatul Aqidah Kaaffah.
Today we are going to present our research with the title Unveiling the Potential of Generative Artificial Intelligence, or AI, in Hadith Studies, a deep dive into ChatGPT and BART case studies. As our educational background, I have a master's degree in security and cloud computing from Aalto University in Finland.
And I have master's degree in statistics from University of Science Malaysia. Okay, so in this presentation, we will go through a few agenda. The first one is background. The second one is research question and also scope. The third one, evaluation methodology. Fourth, result and discussion. And the last is conclusion and suggestion.
We will first elaborate the background that motivated this research. The emergence of AI tools marks the technological advancement that is happening. So AI tools makes our life easier because it's able to provide personalized recommendations on anything. For example, a news that we can read that match our interest only. And then the technology also impacting the learning process. In the past, learning process was often more just a passive experience, but nowadays students more into active learning and more into something that individually personalized for them. And finally, the technology has made it possible for the students to access information from anywhere in the world. And this has led to a more personalized experience as students can choose the materials and methods that work best for them. And what is AI? Back then in the 1955, John McCarthy defined AI as the science and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs. Then how about generative AI? What is it? Longoni et al. Defined generative AI as a type of artificial intelligence that can produce textual, visual, and auditory content with little to no human intervention. Examples of generative AI tools include ChatGPT, which was first introduced in November 2022 by OpenAI, and BART, which was just recently announced in February 2023 by Google. Both are large language models trained on massive datasets. They can be used to generate text and answer your questions in an informative way. And the research questions and scope of this project, there are two questions that we aim to answer. The first one is that can generative AI tools such as ChatGPT and BART be used to learn Hadith? The second one, which generative AI tool, ChatGPT or BART, provides more accurate information about Hadith? And the scope of this research is limited to be focused on evaluating the performance of ChatGPT and BART as a learning media for learning Hadith. So it doesn't assess their capability when used to study another subject.
Okay, for the evaluation and methodology part, to evaluate the proficiency of generative AI tools, ChatGPT, and also BART in responding to questions related to Hadith, we have formulated 4 questions representing 2 distinct perspectives. The initial point of view you can see in the purple color pertain to learner who possess knowledge solely about the scholars who compiled the Hadith and also the contextual information surrounding that Hadith. So this point of view will be represented by question number 1 and number 2. For the second perspective is a view from learners who are acquainted with the actual text of the Hadith and seek to determine the category or classification of those Hadiths. This perspective is represented by question number 3 and 4 in the gray box color. We have curated a set of 40 randomly selected Hadiths from Sunnah.com, ensuring an equitable distribution across 4 distinct categories. We prepare 10 Hadiths from Sahih, 10 Hadiths from Hasan, 10 Hadiths from Da'if, and 10 Hadiths from Maudu. Each of these Hadiths will be transformed into 4 types of questions as previously outlined in our discussion. So we will demonstrate to you here how we generate the data by using ChatGPT and BART. The first one is ChatGPT. We can go to chat.openai.com over here. And then after that, we will start to ask question number 1. So for the number 1, we ask about the hadith from Al-Bukhari that have the topic regarding the reward-based attention. And the ChatGPT will answer the question. We will go to the next question, which asks the ChatGPT to provide the full Arabic version of that hadith. The next step, to remove the bias from the first and second question, we try to open the new tab and delete the historical data, and then we ask the third and also fourth question. The third question, we will provide them the full text of the hadith and ask the ChatGPT whether they know or not about that hadith. So the ChatGPT will give us a very detailed information about that hadith, and then the last question, we will confirm them whether they know or not the classification of the hadith, and then they will also provide us the answer.
And then the same thing we did for BART. So we asked the same questions. For the first one is just the context of the hadith, and then after it returned the results, we asked the second question about the Arabic version of the hadith. And then also the same thing for the third and fourth questions, we open new tab. So to make sure that there is no bias from the previous questions, and we ask by inputting all the narrative of the hadith. And then finally, the fourth questions, we asked whether the hadith is sahih or not. And then we also use the result to do the evaluation.
With our dataset comprising 40 hadiths, each associated with 4 types of question, we have generated a total of 160 data points. These data points were processed through both GPT and BART, resulting in 320 text-based answers, as you can see in the graph. Subsequently, these answers were subjected to analysis and categorized into score, ranging from 0 to 4 on the predefined metrics that we have previously established. Okay, to assess and contrast the performance of ChatGPT and also BART, we will employ 2 statistical methods. The first one is the Mann-Whitney U-Test, and the second one is descriptive statistic. The Mann-Whitney U-Test is a non-parametric statistical hypothesis test that is particularly useful for analyzing the difference between 2 independent samples of ordinal data. So it allows us to determine if there are statistically significant distinction in performance between ChatGPT and also BART in handling the generated answer. On the other hand, descriptive statistics provide a straightforward quantitative approach to summarize and characterize the key feature and behavior of our data. So these 2 statistic approach will aid in providing an overall view of how both ChatGPT and BART perform in our study. So we go directly to the result. We have here in the Mann-Whitney U-Test, our alternative hypothesis aim to determine whether ChatGPT exhibit lower performance compared to BART. Using a significance level or alpha 5%, the p-value result is 0.00338. This p-value indicates that we can reject the null hypothesis, providing the statistical evidence that ChatGPT indeed perform less effectively compared to BART. So let's take a look in a clear visualization in the next slide. As you can see here, this is a bar graph representing the result from question 1. In question type 1, BART performed better than ChatGPT. As you can see in the yellow box, ChatGPT has less information about hadith topic in the category of do'if and also maudu. However, BART performed better in answering all categories because they provide a correct answer for Sahih 80%, Hasan 60%, Do'if 80%, and Maudu 60%. For question type 2, BART performed better than ChatGPT. ChatGPT could only perform well in providing the correct Arabic version of Sahih Hadith. However, BART performed well in answering the Arabic version of Hadith discussed in question number 1 in almost all the category. The third question, ChatGPT finally performed better in answering question type 3. So BART show an indication of having very little information in the Hadith category of Daif, as you can see in the graph for BART result. However, both AI tools show a better performance if the learner provide a full sentence of the Hadith in the very beginning of the discussion, so they will know what they are talking about. And the last question, defining Hadith category is still a challenging task for both tools. Both tools have very little information about the category of Hadith, Hasan, Do'if, and also Maudu. BART shows only outstanding performance in defining Sahih Hadith compared to other Hadith categories. But compared to ChatGPT, in handling the Sahih Hadith, ChatGPT also very less information about it. To conclude this research, we have a few points here. The first one, the ChatGPT and BART actually can be utilized as an easy-to-use platform for people who want to start learning about Hadith. BART outstand in the performing compared to ChatGPT in most of question type. And ChatGPT and BART perform better when learner provide the full text of the Hadith in the discussion. And the last one, defining the Hadith category is still a challenge task for the both tools, especially for Hasan Hadith, Do'if, and Maudu Hadith.
And from the research that we did, we have few suggestions for a group of people. For the first group, for a learner who want to learn Hadith, the data indicates that the generative AI tools currently have limitations in providing accurate information about Hadith. So to ensure reliability, it is really advisable to cross-verify the answer through discussions with trusted sources or even with direct consultation with Hadith scholars. And then for the Hadith scholars, with the technology's pervasive influence in various aspects of our lives, including for religious learning. So it is really crucial to also engage in numerous religious and Hadith scholars in the verification and provision of those accurate data for technology platforms. And finally, for everyone, we should embrace a broader perspective on learning, recognizing that it extends beyond just on the traditional classroom setup. Today, the learning can occur through mobile apps, online education, and also innovative methods that align with societal needs and technological advancement. That's all that we can present today. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.